And in the wake of this violence, what should the Trump campaign do to try to turn the ship around? The front page of Time magazine calling it a meltdown for Donald Trump. Frank Luntz is joining us right now with 5 things he thinks Donald Trump needs to do to win. Frank, nice to see you this morning.
It's a pleasure. Good morning.
So what's the first one? If you were running the Trump campaign, what would you tell the candidate to do this morning?
Well, I'm going to step outside because of what happened last night. And the very first thing I would suggest is that Donald Trump should go to Milwaukee. And he should go to these communities and say to them, you're destroying your own lives. You're destroying your communities, your neighborhoods, your own places of work, your own businesses. Why are you doing this? If you do not have justice, we will instill it. If you do not have security, we will provide it. If you do not have jobs, it is because of the last 7.5 years of this administration, and we will change those policies. I will make a commitment to you in Milwaukee. I'll make a commitment in Chicago. We will hold the mayors accountable for their failures. We will hold this administration and the Secretary of State accountable for their failures, and we will make this change in Milwaukee. We will start right here, right now. Wisconsin is a key swing state. It has been voting Democrat since 1988, but has voted Republican. For him to go there and make that commitment, we know that the black community does listen to Donald Trump. They are interested in what he has to say, and this is his chance to make a difference in a community that is destroying their own lives, destroying their own futures. That would be the first thing that I would do. Tucker, I've got a list of... Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, you have a list of 5 things. And obviously, over the past 2 weeks, Donald Trump has been talking about the Second Amendment. He's been talking about the media. He's been talking about fire marshals at some of his rallies. You mentioned Hillary Clinton. He should highlight Hillary Clinton's hypocrisies. How should he do that?
Yes, and in fact, I have to acknowledge I've been failing at this because your show is a show that he watches. And since he finished his Republican convention and had that bounce, he was up 2 or 3 points. I've been offering these different ideas, and they haven't been taken, and his numbers have been deteriorating. The very first thing he does on Monday is to go back to Hillary Clinton. She says one thing and does another, and that is the one thing that the American people truly resent and will not forgive from a politician if they speak in a certain way and act in another, whether it is trade policy, whether it is tax policy, on social issues. Hillary Clinton was completely different as a United States senator, or even first lady. And in national security, what she said then and what she wants to do now are totally different. Show that. And number 2, you're a wealthy man. Spend your money. The fact is they are out advertising the Trump campaign. The Clinton campaign is, in some cases, by as much as 10-to-1 in these key swing states. You're proud, you boast of how significant your business success has been. Okay, invest that money. And do it in states like Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Florida. I was watching the Olympics last night. I saw 2 Hillary Clinton ads. How many ads did I see for Donald Trump? None. And you can't tell me that the Olympic viewer, who is a slightly older than average viewer, isn't someone that they want to appeal to in the campaign.
Of course.
Where are you? 3rd, wrap your campaign around accountability. It is the most important attribute that independent voters are looking for. It's not ideology or policy. Accountability. Say what you mean what you say, and hold the Clinton and Obama administrations accountable for their failures. 2 more. You have to have a day 1 agenda. You have to be able to communicate exactly what you're going to do in that first hour, that first 24 hours. And frankly, what I would recommend is a forensic audit. The idea of taking the budget apart, line by line, program by program, bureaucrat by bureaucrat. Donald Trump is the only person in this country who could actually balance the budget based on his business experience, but he's never talking about it because he's fighting over the Second Amendment and all these other issues. And finally, which is something I haven't done in this segment, he needs to demonstrate that he can listen, that he really, if you want to be the public's voice, you also have to be the public's ears. And Trump should open up his rallies to give people the opportunity to be heard. Ask them what's on their minds, what frustrates them the most about Washington, D.C., and then respond to that. If you give voters the chance to speak first, it changes the entire tone of these rallies, changes the tone of the campaign, and I'm still convinced if he does even half of these, he will reduce that polling deficit that he has right now, and it's the right way to go into the debates.
There's been that big piece in the New York Times, trouble in the Trump campaign. it's sputtering and that he's not listening to his advisors or only as half-heartedly. He says that this is unfounded, that these unnamed sources are just fake sources, and is even threatening to take away the New York Times press credentials. Would it help, though, because of all the smoke surrounding it and with his poll numbers dropping, if he held a roundtable with some of his advisors and while he's holding these listening sessions with voters?
I'm less concerned about what he does with his advisors, and I'm totally concerned what he does with the American people. That the rallies are always him speaking at them. And notice one thing, Hillary Clinton uses a teleprompter wherever she goes. Donald Trump rarely does so. He doesn't need to do so. He's not telegraphed. He's not choreographed. And there's an advantage to that. But if you really want to demonstrate to voters that you will be their voice, you have to listen to them. Let them speak first. Give them the chance to be heard, and then articulate back exactly what you're going to do. It's a change in focus. It's what he talked about during the convention, which is why he got that bounce. But he hasn't done it since then, which is why he's come down in the polls.
Dr. Frank Luntz, famous pollster and all-around political sage with advice for the Trump campaign, which seems wise to me. Thanks a lot. Great to see you, Frank.
Thank you.